you have magnet, it will have both north and south pole. Okay, so wait a bit. Whenever you have magnet, it will have both north and south pole. Okay, so it is N. Yes. Okay, inside the magnetic field will be from south to north. Inside the magnetic field will be from south to north. Outside the magnetic field will be from north to south. But the two very clearly near the magnet. See, near the magnet, the field strength will be very high. Okay, near the magnet, the field strength will be very high. Once if you go away from the magnet, the field strength will reduce. Okay, the field strength will reduce. Okay, so it's something like this. As you go away from the magnet, that's why I'm putting thinner line. As you go away from the magnet, thinner line, it's just to indicate that your magnetic field intensity will reduce. Okay, but direction is this one only. Outside the magnet, the magnetic field direction will be from north to south, north to south. And one more thing we have seen, the magnetic flux is always forms a closed loop. Okay, magnetic flux always will form closed loop. Okay, uh, magnetic field lines always magnetic field lines always forms closed loop. Okay, closed loop. Again, here we have shown the diagram in 2D paper only, but actually this is 3D. Okay, actually this is 3D. If you rotate this magnet, if you rotate this diagram with respect to z-axis, okay, with respect to z-axis, then you will get a three-dimensional diagram. Okay, once if it is in a three-dimensional case, you take some closed surface anywhere on the space. Okay, you are having magnet. Okay, so suppose if I am taking my closed surface here, say this is my closed surface. If I am taking the closed surface, okay, what I am interested in how much flux is really going outwards of the closed surface. Okay, that will be given by del dot b actually. Okay, because b indicates the flux density. Okay, b indicates the flux density. Okay, del dot b really give you the, once if you have closed surface, the del dot b meaning is what is the outward flow. But one thing is very clear. Suppose in this case, uh, suppose for example, simply three lines. Say for example, in this case, three lines are entering, going inside, and three lines are going outside. So definitely, the answer is zero. Okay, what I'm trying to say, you take uh, closed surface, closed imaginary surface anywhere on the space. Okay, anywhere on the space, what is the magnetic field effectively going outside the your imaginary closed surface? That is zero, uh, because whatever the flux that is entering, that has to leave. Okay, you cannot create flux yourself. That is the main reason the magnetic monopole does not exist. Magnetic monopole does not exist. Always, anywhere on the space, del dot b is always zero. This is taken as granted. Okay, anywhere on the space, del dot b is always zero. The main reason is magnetic monopole does not exist. See, for example, suppose if I'm choosing some imaginary surface, if suppose if I am able to have a only north pole of the magnet, then there is a possibility that the flux may come outside. The flux may come outside. Then you may have some value del dot b will be some value. Okay, but this condition itself not at all possible. Okay, you cannot have magnetic monopole in reality. So that's why del dot b definitely will not give you any value. As it is not possible, definitely del dot b will be always zero. Del dot b always will be zero. So okay, so what is the main condition? Magnetic monopole does not exist. Main idea is magnetic monopole does not exist. Magnetic monopole does not exist. That's why always del dot b is equal to zero. del dot B is equal to 0. Okay, it exists only in the dipole format, whereas in case of electric field, electric monopole, that is means either positive charge is alone is possible or negative charge alone is possible. But in case of magnetic field, it is not possible. Whenever N is there, definitely S will be there. So always del dot B is equal to 0. Okay, next, magnetic flux density. Magnetic flux density. Again, density means flux per unit area. Okay, density, the notation is B vector. Okay, and unit is Weber per meter square, because flux means Weber and flux density means Weber per meter square. And or another unit is you can another unit Weber per meter square, or you can use Tesla. Okay, density. Okay, so what is B? What is B? B is equal to, in general, B is equal to mu into H. B is equal to, in general, mu into H. Okay, very clearly, H is independent of medium properties, but B is depending on the medium properties. Once if you know H, you can compute B very easily. So once you know the medium properties, and mu itself can be replaced by mu naught and mu r into H. Okay, mu naught and mu r into H. And what is mu naught? Mu naught means absolute permittivity. Okay, mu naught means absolute permittivity or permittivity of the free space. Okay, absolute permittivity or permittivity of the free space. Okay, permittivity of the free space. That value is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Henry per meter. Okay, 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Henry per meter. And mu r value, mu r means relative permeability. Okay, relative permeability, it has no unit. Okay, it has no unit. Okay, or otherwise, how to calculate the relative permeability means always what is the permeability of your medium, and what is the permeability of the free space. Okay, that will give you the relative permeability. Okay, as mu is having unit, mu naught also will have unit, so they are cancelling each other. So that's why mu r is having no unit. Okay, mu r is having no unit. Once if a particular material is having very high magnetic properties, that mu r value will be very, very high. Okay, say for example, if iron is having a iron is having a magnetic properties, then its mu r will be very, very high in terms of 1000 or 10,000, like that. Okay, more the magnetic properties, more will be the mu r value. Okay, so so please note down separately, as mu r increases, as magnetic properties, magnetic ability increases. As mu r increases, magnetic properties increases, magnetic property or ability increases. As okay, that's okay, magnetic property increases. As mu r is very less, then it is having very less magnetic properties, very less magnetic value. Okay, magnetic effect. Okay. Next, what is the another meaning for permeability? Permeability means what is the ability to store the magnetic energies. You see, you know that once if you provide magnetic field to the iron, it can store the magnetic energy. But for some other material, say for example plastic and others, they cannot store the magnetic energy. And that mu r, the another meaning for mu r is ability to store the magnetic energy. Okay, what is permeability, another meaning is ability to store the magnetic energy. Ability to store the magnetic energy. Ability to store magnetic energy. Okay, you know that even what ordinary iron pieces that will act as a magnet. Once if you provide a magnetic field with the help of some other magnet to the iron pieces, later some point of time, after a few amount of time, that iron itself will act as a magnet. That is the idea. What is the ability of that material to store the magnetic energy? That is also decided by the what is the permeability of that particular material, ability to store the magnetic energy. Okay, so then what is the relation between the magnetic flux density and flux, total flux? So in general, flux is equal to flux density into area. Flux density into area. For regular shape, you can use this formula. If the shape is irregular, again you have to use this formula. The total flux is equal to surface integral b dot ds. Okay, for irregular surface, you have to use this formula. Okay, so at any point of time, for closed surface, okay, I am choosing closed surface on the space. Say for example, this is my closed surface. Some flux may be entering and it may be leaving. Okay, as it is entering, definitely it has to leave. Okay, flux is entering and then it is leaving. Okay, so then what is the flux? What is the flux now? Total flux that is produced by your surface. Okay, the total flux is say pi is equal to integral b dot ds. You know that pi is equal to integral. Again, this is like a closed surface. It's very important. Okay, you cannot take open surface. You have to choose always closed surface. Okay, pi integral closed surface b dot ds is actually 0. Just now we have seen for any closed surface, what is the flux produced by the closed surface? That is 0, because it cannot produce any flux. Okay, whatever the flux that is coming from outside, that flux only it will be giving you. Okay, so the flux that is produced by the closed surface is 0. Okay, from Gauss divergence theorem, surface integral can be written as volume integral. Okay, so once if you write closed surface integral can be written as a volume integral. Okay, so del dot b is equal to 0. Then finally, what is the conclusion? Divergence of the magnetic flux 0. What is the meaning? Divergence. The number of flux that is coming outside the closed surface is always 0. Okay, number of flux that is coming outside the closed surface is 0. If, some flux may be coming, but the flux some flux might be entering. The same flux will be leaving the closed surface. That a closed surface itself will not produce any flux. So del dot b is 0. Okay, so a flux that is coming out of the closed surface is always 0. So you have to understand that meaning. Okay, flux coming out of flux coming out of closed surface, flux coming out of effective flux that is coming out of closed surface is always 0. Okay, so what is the reason? Because it is due to the non-existence of magnetic monopole. Due to non-existence of magnetic monopole. Okay, non-existence of magnetic monopole. Okay, so yesterday itself I have told once if you have some magnet like this, if you are trying to break the magnet, okay, separately, again once if you break, it will form the new magnet, something like this. Okay, once if you break the magnet, it will form something like this. You cannot have this combination separately. You cannot have, this is not at all possible in reality. Okay, this is the relation between the magnetic flux density and magnetic flux. Okay, and then what is the divergence of magnetic flux over a closed surface? Next, we will see the boundary condition for magnetic fields. Okay, boundary condition.
Sir, what is
Yes. It's not a, okay, next boundary condition. Okay, before going to boundary condition for magnetic medium. Okay, this is what we are in magnetic field. Okay, magnetic medium. Okay, magnetic interfaces. So we should know two formulas. Okay, the first formula is closed integral b dot ds always 0. This law is called Gauss law for magnetic field. Okay, this law is called Gauss law because we observed the same format in electric field. Integral d dot ds is equal to q, but whereas here it is 0. Okay, Gauss law for Gauss law for magnetic field. This is Gauss law for magnetic field. Integral B dot ds is always 0. That means what? Del dot B is 0. Or otherwise, one more formula also we have seen, Ampere's law. Okay, in Ampere's law, closed line integral. Okay, closed line integral. H dot dl is equal to I. It's that closed is very important. Okay, in the exam they will confuse with this one. They will give you open line integral. Okay, and also closed line integral. You have to choose a closed line integral. Ampere circular means you have to choose a closed line. Then only you can form some surface. Okay, and you can measure the flux coming out of the surface and also. So H dot dl closed line integral is equal to I. That is called Ampere circuit law. Okay, Ampere circuit law. Okay, so boundary condition, you should know these two basic formulas, okay, before you proceed. Next, okay, next I take interface like this. Please, better I take like this. Okay, I take interface. This is region 1. It is having mu r1. This is medium 2. This is having medium properties of mu r2. Okay, when some field is going in this way, say some magnetic field is going in this way, whose value is say B1, whose value is B1, it will have tangential component and normal component. This is the tangential component, okay, BT1, and this is the normal component, BN1. Okay, and again, definitely it will have some angle, say theta1. Okay, so in the region 2, okay, in the region 2, it will have some other angle, okay, some other angle, and its value is B2, value is B2, and definitely this has to be B and 2. Okay, definitely it will have some other refraction, so that is theta2, and again it will have the tangential component, okay, BT2, okay, BT2. Okay, so because you can resolve whenever you have some component, you can resolve it as a horizontal and vertical component. Okay, so now I choose an imaginary surface, imaginary cylindrical surface here. Okay, okay, this okay. I choose some imaginary cylindrical surface, something like this. Say this is my imaginary cylindrical surface. Okay, imaginary cylindrical surface. Okay, then height of the cylindrical surface, cylinder, height of the cylinder is del h, some small cylinder. Okay, and you know that once if you have cylinder, you know that surface vector for the upper surface, so the surface vector will be in this direction. Say for example, if I am denoting as a and cap, definitely this surface will have a vector in the opposite direction. As it is a and cap, definitely it has to be minus a and cap. Okay, from your basic experience, you know that integral b dot ds is always 0. Okay, integral b dot ds is always 0 irrespective of anything else. Definitely integral b dot ds is always 0. Now what I'm going to do, what is the flux that is coming out of this surface, that is coming out of the closed box? Definitely it has to be 0. Just now we have seen, once if you take some closed surface, okay, the flux effectively that is coming out of the closed surface is always 0. Okay, so I'm measuring, I'm taking that formula, so integral, okay, integral b dot ds is 0 always. Okay, integral b dot ds is 0, but for closed surface, okay, but for closed surface is 0. then what is the meaning of that? The flux that is coming out of the box is always 0. The box is having 3 different surfaces, top, bottom, and side surfaces. Okay, top, bottom, and side surfaces. Okay, now say I'm measuring what is the flux coming out of the top surface, B dot ds, B dot ds, and bottom is B dot ds, bottom, and side surface B dot ds, side, is equal to 0, is equal to 0. You know that from your experience, the flux will come only the top surface or from the bottom surface, or definitely along the side surface there will not be any flux. Okay, so definitely the flux that is coming out of the side surfaces are 0. Okay, so the third integral will be definitely 0. Okay, so the third integral, the flux that is coming out of the side surface is always 0. So this is always 0. Then you have to compute the remaining integral. Okay. So you know, then for top surface, what is ds? Ds means surface vector. What is the surface vector? A n cap. What is the surface vector? A n cap. Once if you make dot product with b vector, you'll get only this component, b and 2 component. Okay, because see, your vector is in a n cap direction. Okay, once if you make dot product with b, definitely you will get component that is in the direction of a n cap. Okay, that is b and 2. Okay, that is b and 2. So what is the answer? So you will get answer something like this, b and 2, and you'll get some surface, that small surface. I am taking it as del s, some surface. Okay, because integral ds will definitely give you the surface. Okay, that surface, that small surface, I'm taking it as del s, because that del s means this surface. Okay, del s. In the next case, if you see, your magnetic field is going in the upward direction, but surface vector is going in the downward direction. Okay, once if you make a dot product of this minus a n cap with b1 cap, definitely you'll get bn1, but negative sign. Okay, bn1 but negative sign, so bn1. And again, this surface is also del s only. Okay, this surface is also del s only, is equal to 0, because already side surfaces will give you the 0. So from this, what is the observation? From this, you are getting bn1 is equal to bn2. bn1 is equal to what? bn2. Then what is the meaning of that? The normal component of magnetic flux is continuous at the boundary. Okay, what is the meaning of this one? The the normal component of B is continuous at the boundary. Okay, I'll note down here. So please note down what is the conclusion of this one. The normal component of B is continuous at the boundary. Continuous at the boundary. Okay, normal component of B is continuous at the boundary. Okay, so once if you have this relation, bn1 is equal to bn2, and you can conclude, see, bn1 we have derived, bn1 is equal to bn2. Then what is bn1? mu1 hn1, and then mu2 hn2. Okay, so what is hn1 divided by hn2? That is equal to mu2 divided by mu1. So the normal component of magnetic field is discontinuous at the boundary. Okay, from this what you are observing, the normal component of magnetic field is discontinuous at the boundary. Discontinuous at the boundary. Okay, this electric field boundary condition and magnetic field boundary condition may be something confusing, but finally I will give you the conclusion. Okay, some table. With the table you can answer any question. Okay, no worry, just we are deriving, that's it, as usual, that is given in the textbook. Okay, so finally I will give you the conclusion, the boundary condition for both electric field and magnetic field as a table, then it will be clear to you. Okay, next I'm going to for what is the magnetic field of the tangential component of the magnetic field. Okay, so far we have discussed about normal component of the magnetic flux and normal component of magnetic field. Next I'm going to discuss about the tangential component of magnetic field and the tangential component of the magnetic flux density. Okay, next case. Okay, so for this case, I am assuming on a special condition. Okay, then I will relax that condition later. Okay, that condition is say, for example, I am having a region like this. See, this is my region 1, region 2, and here mu1, here mu2. Okay, so now I'm going to assume that see, this is a simply line. It looks as a line in the 2D paper, but in a 3-dimensional case it is a surface. Okay, it is a surface that is going away from your eyes. Okay, that is ahead of you, that is a surface, because in 2D paper it is simply looking as a line, but in a 3-dimensional it is a surface. Okay, once if it is a surface, say for example, if there is some current is flowing on the surface. Okay, so some current is flowing on the surface. See, suppose if the current is flowing away from you. Okay, if the current is flowing away from you, say something, say this is the surface. If the current is flowing away from you, okay, current may flow away from you, or current may flow towards you. Okay, current may flow towards you. So what is the notation that we are using? Once if the current flows away from you, you are observing only this dot. Once if the once and again, please remember from basics, once if you are observing tail of the arrow, that is cross mark. Please note down this. Whenever you are having arrow mark, if the arrow is coming towards you, that is denoted as dot. If the arrow is going away from you, that is denoted as cross mark. That is denoted as cross mark. Okay, so somebody please tell me. I am going to choose I'm going to apply Ampere's law. In such a way, I'm going to choose a surface closed format, or otherwise without confusion, I'll put dotted here. Later I'll explain why I'm putting dot. Okay, if I'm putting dot here means what, sir? The dot means the current is coming towards you. Okay, from your screen, the current is coming towards you. Okay, you are observing head of the arrow, so current is coming towards you. In a coordinate system, which axis we can take in a coordinate system, in our regular coordinate system? Anybody? Huh?
The axis.
Not Z. See, you are putting coordinate system like this, x, y, z. X, y, z. You are standing here, current is coming towards you. Okay, the current is going in the x direction. Is it okay, everyone? Not understood? See, please just imagine, if you have xy plane, if the currents are coming like this, sir. See, if you are having xy plane, if the currents are coming like this, surface current, okay, that will be denoted as dots, because definitely you will be standing here, because you are drawing the diagram from here only. You are not standing here, you are standing here only. So the vector is x cap vector. Okay, the direction of the current is in the direction of x direction. Okay, direction, surface current. Now my question is, say if this is I'm telling as a surface current, the surface current value is k, and very clearly it is in the direction of x, so k a x cap. Now my question is what is the unit of the surface current? What is the unit of the surface current? Anybody? Generally the unit of the current is ampere. Okay, unit of the current is ampere. Okay, what is the unit of the surface current?
Ampere per meter.
Anybody, any idea? Yes, the unit of the surface current
Ampere
is
per meter.
ampere per meter. Please note down the unit of the surface current is ampere per meter. Okay, please note down plus because the unit of the current is ampere, but unit of the surface current is ampere per meter. Okay, these are all the basics that you should know. But can somebody tell me, suppose if I am having a surface current, okay, how can I get the current? If I multiply with some length, can I get the current? Because K is ampere per meter. Surface current means ampere per meter. Once if I multiply with some meter, definitely I will get a current. Okay, so please have this idea. From surface current, if you want to have a current, you have to multiply with some dimension. Okay, so because we will be doing everything now. Okay.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, J dana sir, ampere per meter.
Ampere per meter square, sir. J na.
K இல்லையா sir?
K கிடையாது. J வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா ampere per meter square. J என்னது உங்களுக்கு I divided by A. I என்னது? I na current. Current na ampere. A என்னது? Area. Ampere per meter square. Current density na ampere per meter square. Okay. Surface current means ampere per meter. Okay. Okay, now the surface current value is K ampere per meter. K ampere per meter. Okay, and again we are going to discuss about what is the magnetic field nature. Okay, tangential component of the magnetic field nature. Okay, so say this is again H1. If this is H1 and this is H1T, this is H1N, this is H1N, and this is H2. Okay, this is H2, and this is what H2T. This is H1N. Okay, so now I'm going to choose a closed line. Okay, closed line in this way. Suppose I choose a closed line in this way, and from this line I go wait, I go in this direction. Okay, I go in this direction. Okay, say, and again if this is point A, okay, so this is point A, B, C, D. I have chosen some closed line. Once if you have closed line, you can apply the Ampere's law. Once if you have a closed line, you can apply the Ampere's law. Okay, so and what is the height of this line? The height of this line is del H. Height of this line is del H. What is the width of this line? That is del W. Width of this line is del W. Okay, so now what is the current enclosed by this box? What is the current that is enclosed by this box? See, the current is, you have chosen some closed surface. Okay, closed line that will form a surface. The current is flowing perpendicular to the surface. Okay, the current is flowing perpendicular to the surface. Then what is the current enclosed by that surface? The current enclosed by that surface I is equal to current density into this length. Okay, current density is this length, because if you have more dw, you will have more current. If you have less dw, you will have less current. Okay, just because if you increase the height, you will not have any change in the current. Plus, because you may have doubt why without taking del h, why we are taking del w. Okay, even if you increase the height, there will not be any change in the current. But once if you increase width, there will be change in current. So the current is simply current density, surface current density into del w. Okay, del w. Again, you know, K unit is ampere per meter, and del W value is meter. Meter cancels. Finally, you are getting ampere. Now I will apply Ampere's law for this ABCD loop. Okay, ABCD loop. Okay, as per Ampere's law, integral H dot dl is equal to I. You know that Ampere's law, it is Ampere's law, integral H dot dl is equal to I. Okay, again you take A to B, B to C, C to D, D to A, like that. Say first A to B, B to C, C to D, D to A is equal to total current, but total current that we have calculated is K del W, K del W. Okay,